Greetings on this Easter morning. Um, these are the type of topics I have to kind of slip in. Very serious. It's and when I'm up this early, this has to be a good thing. I went to bed very early. I should have been in bed all day yesterday, but I had to, running around with my daughter and everything, and doing little Easter events and stuff like that. Moms had to take care of things, so me and her were out. Um, but it's an early Sunday. It's a good thing because I have to get out and roll, and do my little two step. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna try to make this. It's gonna be a little rough though because I just will not do the thing with YouTube yet with my whole the ads. I don't know. It's just great. I remember when YouTube used to have the ad blocker, or was it a thing that they did? I believe it was like $10. Right? It was something like that. But there's a lot to share, and salute to everybody that's getting up and going to church this morning. I gotta go myself, but I had to get this late night, early morning live streaming. There's a very disturbing video going around. Very, very disturbing. It's probably the worst thing that I've ever seen for my class of students, which is primarily black women. And black women of a certain age is women that, millennials, they have a lot of concern. I'm gonna say that millennials have a lot of concern, and with that being said, it shows as this is a syndrome that gets old as you get older. It gets worse. Um, there is no how do I say cure. Shout out to Jordan Atkins. Salute to you. I appreciate that, man. There is no cure for this disease. A lot of y'all are coming here hating it. I can treat it, but there's no cure because when you have this syndrome, this is a syndrome. But well, let's just put it this way: there's no curable syndromes for most mental illnesses. Not a cure. I can tell you a lie and say, "Hey, there is a cure." If you listen to me, no, there's a treatment. I can treat it, but you're gonna have to be listening to me every day. And the days that you don't take a dose of me, pause, you're gonna be right back, and you're gonna be suffering. You see, a treatment is something that you have to constantly have, and it's important to have that mentality of a treatment because that's what treatments are made for. Treatments are made for not necessarily the long haul, um, but it's made for the day. So let's just say you go to the gym and you love going to the gym to release your endorphins. Well, that's possible. You can release your endorphins by attending the gym, but you're gonna remember that wears off, and that's what they don't tell you. When it wears off, it's gonna be awful because it's like you got to go back again. and you have to keep going back. You see, that's the thing about treatments. I've learned that a treatment is just, kind of a band-aid, but it'll get you through the day, if that makes sense. So I think we need to see in line of where are we going wrong? What is the point of working so hard to reach the top and become successful and rich and famous to be all that you can be, but you have a disorder? I watched Tracee Ellis Ross in an interview, and it's just amazing how, as an actress, we all are actors. Everybody's an actor, by the way. Some people just get paid for it. Some people don't. Whether you're a lawyer, whether you're doctors or lawyer, doctors are actors too. A lot of doctors are full of shit. Okay, lawyers, come on, they get paid to lie, and then you have your actors, a boss. He has to act like he's really likes you when he probably doesn't. You know what I mean? He has to act. Then you got pastors, there's actors that act like they're saints, and they probably are filthy in the mind. Everybody's an actor, so you have to be aware, be mindful of that. Um, but to see Tracee get on this stage and she's so vibrant with her makeup and looking gorgeous. And I love her. She's a spectacular dresser. Oh my God. Nobody can rock heels like Tracee Ellis Ross. She's just a fine. She's bad. Tracee Ellis Ross is the she's ridiculous. So from her dressing, all her visuals are good. Now listen, me having a visual layout of how I see things is a little different than you, you know. And I say that to say because as a man, we're visual creatures. It's in our nature to be visual. It's in our nature for a woman to be visual and, you know, have her look, and it's just her nature. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's our nature. So women don't really understand this method. They think, they're aware, like a men are very visual, but then when you're visual, that's not a good thing. It's kind of like the disorder of a man meeting a woman, and he's not attracted to women, he's attracted to men. You know, um, even in the community of the gay and lesbians, they still acknowledge that. Shout out to Radine. What up, baby? Good morning. Happy Easter. Um, there is a disorder, respectfully, because we're called straight. You can't get no better than that. The gay community calls heterosexual men straight. So that means gay is crooked, right? Or I don't know whatever it is ain't straight, right? So if you go straight, I go to straight arrow, strictly, you know what I mean? And that thing is gay, so it's a different type of, you know what I mean? So that's a different mind. It's not normal. It's not normal for a man to be attracted to a man. It's just not normal. That's why it's called gay. Because a straight man is a man, and then a gay man is a gay man. It's a big difference. So now I know some of y'all women over 50 would, well, it doesn't matter because y'all like to listen to Gen Z. And, from there, I'm going from what they said. But, being older, it doesn't matter who you love. Yeah, right. You would say that. That's normal for you to say because, you know what I mean? You have that disorder. So when you have this disorder, back to addicted to black men, it is a disorder, whether you're gay or straight. Period. As a black man, if you're addicted to black men, it's definitely a disorder. And it's a disorder for a black woman. You know what I mean? Is it a disorder for a white woman? Well, it depends. You know what I mean? Because a white woman she can do things that you can't do. She's white. So she can become you and look for, hopeless love, or she can take advantage of him. See, when you fall in love with a black man, you're not taking advantage of him. Your heart is all open, but she can go either way. She has something that you're not born with called a white liver. So she has a choice. She could either fall and do the Amber Rose and have addicted to black man and get, you know, kicked off the steps the same way you do. Or she can drag it the way that the white woman is known to do and take advantage of them and pop them out and spit them out and do a twitch on them. You understand? She has that ability. It's different. Remember, when you call the cops on a black man, you're a black woman. But when she calls the cops on a black man, she's a white woman. Big difference. Your Mayday call is different than her Mayday call. Because they're going to be like, well, listen, I'm going to lock both of y'all up. The white woman, they're going to be like, hold on, where's the nigger at? So, in some cases, she may be addicted to black men the same way you are. You know what I mean? And then that may not work for her. But if she's addicted to them and learning how to play around with it, having a ball and spitting them out, then she has her to her advantage. So, anyway, if you're looking at the clip here, you're looking at Tracee Ellis Ross walking on the Seth show. And as you can see, she's fine as hell. See how she's walking? She's just amazing. And the act that she's putting on here is the animation. See, she's all happy and smiling and made up and ponytail, and that's all good. The problem is that this is all an act. Um, it's a clear act, and it's an act that is unfortunate that a lot of people are watching. So when you look at things and you go to and see, okay, another point of attraction of Tracee Ellis Ross, let's not get it messed up. Um, she's just an attractive woman, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of dudes like her because she's hippie. She got a big body, thick ass body. You know what I mean? She's nice, but there's another issue with Tracee Ellis Ross that a lot of people don't know. And Tracee Ellis Ross has a bad habit of getting on the internet and just doing a lot of goofy shit. Um, Goofy to the point where it's actually disturbing because I'm just like, yo, how does a woman of your caliber stoop this low to be doing shit that my neighbors are doing? I know young girls doing this bullshit, jumping on the internet and throwing up a picture for validation, and it's just crazy. Like just everything about her, you would look and say, why would she have to do it? So this is a bad influence because women are seeing this and they're watching this and they're saying, well, Nate, well, that's what men want. I'm like, well, Tracee, like you look at this picture here, you look at her and say, wow, here's a woman that has looks. She looks great. She's 52. She's still young. She's still a young woman. She's of a certain age, but she's still a young woman. If there was any chance of having a baby in it, she still can do it. Don't believe that she can't if that's her choice. Um, but this is my thing. You look at a woman like this and you're saying, well, how does a woman of this status have all this going for her? Mother is the diva of the world, living legend. Diana Ross, Nina Seymour, Miss Motown, Michael Jackson's. I mean, I don't even want to go there, man. Let's just. She could be killing a legacy because at the end of the day, the mother married a white man. See where I'm going with that? Because just remember, Tracee Ellis Ross's mother father's white. Okay, Diana Ross is black. The issue is here with Tracee Ellis Ross, and this is the thing that I struggle with her is that this woman has everything that you work for. Everything. Maybachs, Range Rovers, mansions. She's rich. Her mother's real filthy rich. She's rich. Her father's rich. Okay, success ain't even a word. You know what I mean? She dresses her ass off. She's sexy. She's tall. She has a beautiful body, beautiful feet. She got all that, right? Educated, all the above. But the one problem she has a big problem. And I know a lot of these brothers drag and whatever. You can't listen to that shithole on the internet dragging her because he doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't have access to women that even look like her that isn't even not Tracee Ellis Ross. He doesn't have that access, so he's just jumping on the bandwagon. I want to tell you the problem with Tracee Ellis Ross. Tracee Ellis Ross has a condition called addicted to black men. That's why she's by herself. See, her mother played. Her mother was an actress in a couple of movies with Billy D. Williams, and she played that shit. I think she had a kid from one black man, but for the most part, the mother didn't endure that disease, and that's why Tracee is the way she is. Physically came out the way she went and had her baby from a white man. Diana Ross knew that she loved the essence of a black man, but she knew that the nigga was gonna be a problem, especially when she got old. She knew it. And she didn't want her daughter to go through the same thing, but unfortunately, her daughter caught the disease. Okay. Um, does oh, that's a great question. That is a fantastic question. I don't think Tracee Ellis Ross has the white liver because her father's white. See, the white liver comes from the mother. When you have that white mother and a black father, yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna definitely have the white liver. You understand? Yeah, that's right. Her father's white. So no, she probably doesn't have it. She clearly doesn't. Because on the negative side, I did hear one. I have one friend of mine that actually had sex with her. Let me rephrase that. That was involved with her, and um, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. I was actually surprised. I wasn't surprised that the sex is not the greatest, and I know it's not because nobody's talking about it. You see, when a woman is a beast in bed, the industry kind of knows a little bit about it. You could kind of tell when a woman's shit is insane, um, especially when a man doesn't leave her. And he doesn't have to prove that to her for the rest of her life. You understand? But in the case of Tracee Ellis Ross, that's the one down. I don't think the bedroom game is sick because in a lot of times when a black woman has a white father and a black mother, she could miss the white liver. So the sex could be in question. Yeah, I understand. Because most light skinned women are extremely filthy and nasty and disgusting in bed. Can somebody tell me what Maya's mother is? Because Maya gives me a white mother vibe, but then she also gives me a black father vibe. Um, yeah, it's a different vibe with a parent. So her Tracee Ellis Ross's vibe would be more with her mother, and her mother's black. There's no connection to her father other than her being light skinned white. You know what I mean? Like biologically, yes, but not mentally. Her black side is her mother's side. And I'm not saying the sex is any less because she's a black woman. It's because she doesn't have the white liver because of her dad. The white liver usually comes from the freaky mother. Doesn't come from the freaky dad. You understand? But yeah, let me know if Maya, somebody could look that up and tell me what is Maya's parents. Because I could see some African in her majorly. Because she has, see, the thing is with Maya, Maya has real deep African roots with physical. If you picture Maya dark skin, think about it. She just looks like she's from, you know what I mean? She has very, very deep African accents on her body and her face. She really does. But Maya has the disease too. She's addicted to black men. And that's why, so when you're addicted to black men, you're either going to end up single or you're just going to have a shitty marriage. You know, there's a lot of insecurities when a black woman has this disease because that means she can't see past a black man. She just can't. You understand? You may hear my daughter snoring, so it's okay. So listen, I think the mother may be white. So if Maya's mother's white, Maya's probably a nasty freak. And I think that, you know what? That Maya, this is what I pick up from Maya. Maya is trying to change herself. I think Maya's a freak. But Maya's trying to become Queen Mother Earth now. She's working on it. And I respect the woman is trying. She's really, really trying, but she's older now and she has that same syndrome. She's addicted to black men. You know, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And I know women now. Like, see, the problem is when even a woman I know that endure this disease, they usually catch it in 30s and 40s. 40s are really age you really catch it. But once you catch that shit, you can't get rid of it because you're older now. Again, you can treat it, but you can't cure it. That's it. Once you got that disease, that shit is there's no it's not reversible. You got to get it out that shit quick. Look, there's no reason why. That's why you see Janet Jackson and Eve, they're married to billionaires. There's no reason how Tracee Ellis Ross is not going to will not marry a woman like her mother did, a man like her mother did. Think about that. She didn't even take her mother's steps at all. She refuses to. And now she's 52 years old. That shit, she'll never change that. Because even when she's going to be with a white man, her mind is going to be with a black one. It's never going to be right. She's never going to come out of that. Never. So I want to share this. I want to share this video with you, and you know, it's pretty interesting. So Obama's wife is Michelle Obama has a podcast now, and they always put the man on stage as gay. This is another thing I can't stand. Like they don't have a straight man here; they put a homosexual man here. Yes, he can give some advice on men, but at the end of the day, he sleeps with men. So it's just that's the malfunction there. So you got three malfunctions on this stage. You have an unhappily married woman. Okay, because Michelle Obama, they're going through something. I'm telling you that right now. Something is going on with Obama and his wife. I feel it. Just remember me telling you this day. Something is going on. I can see just from her doing this podcast now. It's like when women go through a thing, when people go through things with marriages, men go through certain things and women go through. So Obama's now is more on his. They're doing a lot more things without each other. You don't see them together as much. And Obama's like the dude that he's a ladies' man, you know what I mean? That nigga Obama loved black women, you know what I mean? He loved them. Now Donate, is that a disease? Now that's not a disease. That's a great thing. If a man has the admiration of black women, that's a true man. Because it's different. Because as visual creatures, You can't be a real man without appreciating a black woman. It's like a white man. You don't look at a white man as a real good white man, a real official white man until he's in the sisters. Oh, that nigga gotta be the shit. He's in the black woman. You feel me? So a real man is in the sisters. You know what I mean? That's what a woman that's ideally what she would want to be with. So it's a match for you to be with a man that loves black women. But in most cases, you're attracted to black men, and most black men are attracted to women, non-black women, and that's usually what ends up happening. See, women like Tracee Ellis Ross, whoever she fuck with, he's in the woman that look like her and everybody else, and he's never gonna just be with her. She's gonna have women that look like her. He's gonna have women that's younger than her. You know, it's just gonna be a big mess because that's what she's attracted to. You know, if a light skinned woman like her is attracted to a good looking black man, or a man that's maybe not even be good looking, them any man that's with her, she doesn't even realize it because she doesn't know her value. He's privileged to be fucking with her. The average man could not get to her, but then again, the average man can. You understand? The average man should not be able to get to Tracee Ellis Ross, but he does. So, breaking this down real quickly, Michelle Obama's going through a change in her marriage. I could feel it. I don't think her and Obama's doing good. She's with her brother now, so he's probably her little coach, helping her out. And, you're going to see them doing a lot of things together because, oh, man, Michelle and Obama should have been doing this. We need to hear a married couple. We don't need to be hearing a married woman. We need to hear a married couple, right? In her case. So then you got the gay brother, and then you have Tracee Ellis Ross. So this is kind of it's not a good situation here. You know what I mean? Um, Radine says, my opinion, nothing better than a thick chocolate um, woman. Well, again, you know what I mean? Most men that say that don't even believe that. Yeah. You understand, right? Yeah, listen to me. Listen. Most men that say that don't even really believe that. They usually say that just so other black women can feel secure. When the reality is that even Tracee Ellis's fair skinned ass can't seem to keep nobody because they're into her. So now she feels like, well, damn, I got the same problem that the thick chocolate woman got. These motherfuckers is off the chain. Yeah. But the reality is that, again, it doesn't matter about what a man finds attractive. I tell women this all the time. It doesn't matter. Like, respectfully, if a man says he likes thick chocolate women, what does that mean for you? Even if you thick chocolate, because he's gonna be an a thick light skin or white chick too. You know what I mean? A man's preference means nothing. You know what I mean? What's important is what a man attracts. You know what I mean? I think it's gross, respectfully, Randy. I think it's gross when a man says what they're attracted to. It's gross because he never says what he attracts. See, a woman, in most cases, what she likes, she attracts. She does. In most cases, women attract what they like. But a man, he doesn't. He just doesn't. Nothing is because he's living in a dream world. A man can watch Pornhub and tell you he's attracted to a certain type of woman, and you may feel insecure, like, oh wow, he's into this. He could be into it, don't mean he gets it. It means nothing. You know what I mean? I could look at a man and tell you what he attracts. A woman's even easier, but I could look at a man and tell you he don't attract that. He don't attract none of that shit he like. So moving along, respectfully. Um, so this is the podcast, and I want you to listen to this. So I think it's pretty good. But I'm not a fan of Michelle Obama's look. Um, I think Obama's most exclusive looks was when she was in the White House. They did fix her underbite. She had a bad underbite years ago. I'm just not a fan of Michelle Obama physically. Um, but that's just my thing. You know what I mean? Now again, here we go. Like, you know, I'm not saying she ain't smashable. You got to remember, ain't too many women I wouldn't lay pipe down on. You understand? Some of my best experiences have been through with unattractive women. Not saying Michelle Obama's unattractive. She's far from that. But and then some of my worst experience has been with women that look like Tracee Ellis Ross. I could tell you right now, Michelle Obama's wife, well, excuse me, I shouldn't say wife, but if I had to think of the two, I bet you Michelle Obama's wife get it in better than Tracee. Tracee looks whack in bed. That's the white father of her. You know what I mean? There's no groove there. I could just tell she's probably terrible in bed. She's just probably a terrible lover. But I think Michelle will get it in a little more. You know what I mean? If I had to blaze one of them two, I would probably take Michelle. Seriously. I would really want to see what that's. She just for the fact she got them ghetto ass braids in her hair right now. Sure, because Michelle give me a little hood. She she gives me a mode of hood. Excuse me talking like this on a Sunday morning, but I give an example, right? Michelle Obama's like that, wanted to be like, yeah, give me that big dick, right? I could picture her saying it, but I could see Tracee Ellis like, yeah, give it to me, give me that dick, and it just, it just, she just seems awkward. I think Tracee Ellis has a whole bunch of junk in her trunk. She just don't know how to work it. That's what I pick up. You know what I mean? And I pick up that Michelle will get it in a little more. She been with Obama all them years. She's bored. She could probably get it in. And probably her gay ass brother probably telling her how to give head. They close. Her and her brother are very close. So I'm just saying. She just she just strikes me as one that gets it in a little more. So I'll probably take over. I'll probably take Michelle. You know what I mean? Tracy's gonna like she gotta get drunk and then in the morning she's gonna be complaining, and she's gonna be talking about spirituality and what I should be doing and and I'm like, I'm married. Like she just seems like she's gonna be a mental disaster. So let's go ahead.
You so insecure
Yeah.
that you
Are
can't
you
handle a
uncomfortable with
strong.
Okay, what the fuck was that?
A lot of people do. It's like they're that's right. And
I
then
would ask it all
right.
wrong.
That's
He would be
Because
squawk
I
from
am
the
a
start.
boss. I am a boss.
I'm a boss. Are you okay being the
can you
fella?
level up? Can you level up?
She don't got no swag. That's the only thing I like about Tracy. Like she don't have swag. Like she's like the corny chick. But I don't know. Let's see if we could pick up something here because I don't think she don't got no sauce for me. You know what I mean? Hold on.
And then he's running away, going,
I don't.
It's
She's
like
aggressive.
age where
No, we're not.
I'm just blessed to have woken up, got up. You don't
Uh,
think we're at that age? You're older than
no.
me.
Well,
We
yes.
are.
Yeah,
We
but
are in our 60s, my friend.
I know, but
Oh shit. Oh boy, Michelle's in her 60s. I didn't know that. So this is a little depressing already. They already started off with the age thing. So, Michelle's probably bored. She's getting older now and let's do a podcast. So she calls her brother, let's do a podcast. I'm not feeling, we should be blessed to wake up at this age. These are the things you don't need to be hearing. You should be blessed at any age. My daughter's 4 years old. I'm blessed when she wakes up. You understand? I mean, this is the part of older people that I don't like being around. I don't like older people that are not old enough to talk about being old. I don't like that. It's very, very, very low vibrational because apparently this is a society that's so obsessed with age, so obsessed with age that it's depressing. So I don't like these things. I'm not an age person. I don't like talk about age because most people in my age group are terrible. They're terrible people. They just are. Like people in my age group, and it's always been like that since I was 30. They're terrible. Oh, their vibration is the worst. They got the worst depression. I almost almost hate people in my age group. I almost do. I'm not going to say I do, but I almost hate them. They're horrible. Horrible. So when I'm hearing this shit in the 60s, it's just like, come on now. Like, ain't like you niggas is, Smokey Robinson was on this podcast, and this nigga's in his 80s, and I got a different vibe from him, but here we go. So, let's see what the brother says about age.
Hoping I got a good 20 more left.
Oh,
That's what I'm shooting.
wow. That's nobody wants to hear that in the morning. You 60, you got another 20 more. See that? No, nobody. See, this is the stuff that I don't like. This is why I don't talk about age to people as far as my age or asking people age. I don't. Because all of a sudden everybody becomes a guard now. You understand what I'm saying? How you know when you leaving, nigga? You probably won't make it until Friday. How do you know that? So now that vibration is horrible as you get older. Oh my God, man. Older people, man, I swear to goodness. Other than the wisdom, this is the part of podcasting that is depressing. Hearing this, hold on.
Shooting for at least.
But, we're at the age now where, it's not so tragic.
Oh God, darling. I'm trying to give you credit, Michelle. I'm not a big fan of you. I'm really not. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a stack with. I'm not a big fan of Michelle Obama. I think people were giving Michelle Obama the pass because they felt as if, well, I don't want to be anti-black. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of her, and I'm not saying particularly nothing that she did. I just never seen the big deal. You know what I mean? There's some woman I'm like, yo, there's some newscasters I just love. Not what they look like, just as people. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of Jennifer Hudson. I'm not a fan of Tamron. I'm not a fan of who else? Sherry Shepard. I'm not a these are not women that really move me where I'm like, yo, I gotta listen to her on this interview today. You dig what I'm saying? But there are. And if I didn't mention them, maybe you should mention them. But I don't feel that we have these good examples these days. I feel that Michelle at this level needs to be doing a podcast with her husband. I'm sorry. That we need to see a married couple in action. Seriously, because I just nobody wants to hear what a married woman got to say without the husband out there. You understand? We want to hear a married woman with a husband. We already know what it is for a man to be married. And you're hearing his perspective. We want to hear the woman's perspective when she's married with together. We need this. Obama should be here, but I don't think they're getting along.
Well, did you get enough rest last night, old lady?
I did. The girls came over for dinner and I
Okay.
was so tired that I left them at the table, which is unusual
I don't
because
blame
I
you.
love hanging out with my girls, but I was that sleepy. I was like, you know what? Mom's going to bed. You can sit here and talk to your dad.
Yeah,
But yeah, I got to bed early and had
Good,
plenty of sleep.
good.
How's your Airbnb
Oh
feeling?
my gosh,
Still,
it
still
is
happy with your
so.
situation?
I'm so happy that I did not go to dinner last night. I left here
Just to stay in
just
your
to be able
Airbnb
to
house?
chill in my Airbnb in West Hollywood. And guess who visited me this morning to do their laundry?
Who?
Leslie.
Oh.
My daughter's in town here, and she came over to bring her laundry to do. I mean,
Why
that's
does
why
she
I
have
like.
laundry? How long has
You
she
know
been
why?
here?
Because she works out every day.
Oh, okay.
So
All
she
right, her
had a
gym
whole bag
clothes.
full of gym clothes and
Mhm.
Oh yeah, when you work out every day, you have a whole bag of gym clothes. Yeah, that's true. All right, that's a little boring. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Like, come on, we want to hear about your life.
Young people, they like being in a home. Well, a lot of times when they're traveling, they're sharing with their friends. They're good.
you have not been
Those braids look terrible on her.
But
Those braids look awful. This brother needs some hair or something. He need to put a toupee on or something, man. Hold on.
did we talk about dating?
Mm.
And I have to say, I don't remember talking about dating much at all.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. Well, your sister got lucky, brother. I don't know about you, but Let's get to the meat and potatoes.
younger.
I felt like I
And
what did you learn about
this
him
is what I
in this?
learned. Aside from the fact that
She was
she's
raised
funny,
right.
talking about being fun.
Now,
She's funny,
exactly.
but she's an award-winning actress. She's a screenwriter, a director, an entrepreneur that I want to hear about this
You don't
entrepreneur
know
thing.
about pattern? I
I-
guess not. You're bold. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Man, you let me do my job
I'm
here.
sorry. I'm sorry. I interrupt.
And so without any further ado, Tracee Ellis Ross.
Tracee.
Like I said, family.
I do feel like that.
We got family in the house.
Really interesting conversation. And I took
Oh.
some notes.
Oh,
I took notes in my head and I actually wrote them down out there because you said there's a lot you can learn about who a guy is or who a person is by how they are on the court.
Yes.
They let their guard down.
They let their guard down and
It's
their
really
character
interesting.
comes out.
I think I could have used that information. I think I'm a little late on adding my list of how to figure out if he's a match.
Guys,
There's still
Noted
time.
now. There's still time because I'm still single. So noted now.
You know, there's still
guy out
time.
there breaking his hip trying to play basketball.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be a different measure now.
I
'Cause,
know.
right, you know, I made Barack put his basketball shoes up once he got his lip busted when he
Rightly
was in the
so.
White House
Oh
playing
my
a pickup
goodness.
game. Yeah, I don't think many people.
Nobody wants to hear these stories. Obama's not here, so just like hearing Beyonce. We want to hear Beyonce and Jay-Z talk. We want to see how they talk together.
You know, and I'm
I don't
like,
think there's
oh,
a video of Beyonce and Jay-Z side by side, right? Let's get straight to it. Come on, let's listen to what Tracee got to say.
Really
Open than
stays
it
open.
should.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Okay.
right.
All right.
Good
More open
correction.
than it should be, but I do date, and it's a fascinating adventure out there. You know, mostly though, I think there's really good men out there. I think
Mhm.
to a certain extent, I'm a very unique sort of unicorn of a woman,
Yes, you
and
are.
so it's gonna take a unique person.
No, it's
And
not,
in the
darling. It's not
meantime,
going to
I
take a
really learned-
unique person. It's going to take a white man. You're wasting your time, Tracee. You're wasting your time. You have all this going on for you: a screenwriter, actress, comedian, entrepreneur. All these things these women talk about on Pop the Balloon. You have all these different things. And you date failure. Your problem is you are addicted to black men. That is that when you're addicted to black men, you got to date a million niggas to get a decent one that you're gonna be into is gonna be into you. Any man that has you is privileged. Any man that is able to say he fucked Tracee Ellis Ross, that is a major, major, major deal, sister. The fact that he had the ability to touch you. If I hit it, it's a big deal. I don't care how whack your shit is. You're Tracee Ellis Ross.
learned how to live my life and
Yeah.
enjoy it and not sit around waiting. I was saying to someone recently that I'm one of the first generations of choice, and it's
Mhm.
not anymore,
Yeah.
which really there was a window and that has shifted. And I do think that that's going to change dating for women so much.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going to change anything for women, darling. The problem is you have all these great things that you accomplish, but you have a problem. It's like dealing with somebody and they have a drug addiction. You're like, yo, this nigga's a millionaire, but he's addicted to drugs. This is a problem. You're gonna crash.
When you mean you've been the sort of the product of choice,
Yeah,
you
like
mean
the
just-
assumption of
yeah.
Roe v. Wade
Yeah.
and the ability for a woman to find her own delight and pleasure
Yeah.
and choice around how she navigates dating or
Mhm.
how one would navigate dating. And we're in a different world now.
Right
And I'm
about that.
curious what that will look like. It frightens me for younger girls because of many reasons, obviously.
Mhm.
But even with the systemic protection of Roe v. Wade,
Yeah.
I still was coming up against the cultural norms
Yeah.
of being a choiceful woman
Mhm.
and owning my own body and my own choices and what it is that I'm looking for in a relationship and the ability to negotiate in a relationship what it is you want the relationship to be between the two of you, as opposed to what society says it should be.
Well,
And that's different.
I don't know that we're gonna lose that. I think women, we're used to having a say in our lives.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether the whole movement is about sort of reharnessing us,
Mm. Sure.
whether is it really about,
And can that really
reproductive
work?
rights? Can that really work now that women are educated
Mm.
and we're being raised differently? I mean, the truth is that men, fathers are modernized.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
Mostly.
mostly they
Mhm.
are, and if you were to ask the average man, how are you raising your daughter? Because you love her.
Mm.
The average father
Mm.
that loves their daughter
Mm.
wants them to be excellent,
Mhm.
and they want them to have opportunity and freedom.
And
I mean, when
freedom.
you think about who you don't want your daughter saddle marrying some guy that chose her because he just didn't think
Who
about anything
and who
else
and
and
who
was
believes
ready
that
at the
her body
time.
is his choice.
Exactly. So I don't think a lot of leaders are thinking about that,
Yeah, well, and they haven't been asked to, because I think it's not always a context
Mhm.
that if it's an area that you don't have to think into,
Right.
but I think there is it is a genuine regular thought process for me. It's one of
Yeah.
the reasons, I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is because
Let's stop on that, folks.
oh my God, we had a
It's the problem. Tracee Ellis was a goddamn fool. You. Oh my God, man. Tracee. This is the narrative that I don't want you to teach the older women of your age. This is why you by yourself. You looking crazy, boo. I mean, you. Let me see if Obama or Michelle could keep it real with older.
great dinner.
Snaps on that
we
one.
had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table your husband goes, "But why?" And I said, "Well, maybe because I can."
Yes. Preach. This
No.
is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracy's.
It's fun. It's very
Okay,
fun to share.
Tracy tale.
But
You date a
I'm
younger
sorry.
woman.
but
Yo-
one of the
younger man.
reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, "What is this about?"
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and
Mhm.
so often, and it's not just that I'm older.
It is because you're older. I'm gonna tell you what it is. See, the problem is that when you have this male addiction, this black male addiction, as an older woman, you you're gonna embody this worse in a younger man than an older woman, older man. Now you ideally would want the older man, you know what I mean? But the older man wants a younger woman. He don't want her. That's the problem. So the man that she would ideally like to be with that's in our age group, he wants to be with a woman half her age. Y'all know that. So she's putting out this preference, like Obama said to her, why? No, it's not about him being offended saying why. It's because men in her age group want a damn non-black fucking 12-year-old. So now she's addicted to a black man, so she'll date a young nigga. And it's understandable. You know what I mean?
I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows
Yes.
myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up, other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic
See,
masculinity.
I told you. Now watch this. I'm watching this for the first time with you. Watch her. Watch how she fumbles, right? She says they hot and gorgeous. See, when you're 52 years old, you can't date men on looks. That's number one. Number two, you can't date no young nigga on no looks. Because now you're going to be competing with the younger woman. Maybe an older woman. You see what happened to look what happened to Amber Rose. Amber Rose's boyfriend left her for Cher. You got to be careful with that. She's all over the place because ideally she's attracted to men in her age group. But the problem with her, she's attracted to men visually. This is the problem. You when you're attracted to black men visually as a black woman, that's a bad combination because there's no substance. You can't be attracted to men the way we're attracted to women. We're all physical. You can't be physical, especially at this status. Now watch her. Hold on.
Up other
Mhm.
than they're hot and gorgeous.
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been
Mhm.
raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks.
No, it's not that, darling. It's not that. You're using this YouTube and these stupid fucking terminologies from social media. It has nothing to do with that. Toxic masculinity? I'm older. What are you talking about? Niggas my age want to date younger women. Period. That's the problem. Okay? This is nah. Ronnie, you got it wrong, my brother. It's too early for this. Ronnie, 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 Ronnie. Listen to me, Ronnie. It's Easter Sunday morning. I'm trying to do a layout, my brother. Okay. Okay, listen to me, Ronnie. You cannot read. Trust me when I tell you, my brother, you would never be able to relate to my life at all. So I appreciate you just, if you're a man, please be quiet. Nobody wants to hear anything about what is toxic masculinity? What is that? What is that? That's some YouTube bullshit. What are you talking about? Shitting on it? So you agree with it? You agree that's a terminology? That shit is for bozos, bro. Get out of here. Don't come here with that, bro. Just too early in the morning, man. Okay, please, just shut up. Just shut your mouth. Be quiet. Okay? Go put your head in the toilet bowl. Get out of here. Don't come here. Get out of here. You piece of garbage. Get out of here. You piece of trash. Get out. Get out of here. It's too early for this, you piece of shit.
Hmm.
And anything that starts to smell of that for me,
Yeah.
I did enough of it where
Yeah.
I was controlled and
Mhm.
felt like I was a possession.
How are you being controlled at your status, Tracee? You, my God. How are you being controlled at your status? Why don't you take the visual out of everything? How do you have all these relationship problems and you are Tracee? I don't understand it. That's insane. This is insane. Else said she gonna be dancing with in the kitchen like Ice Spice with a young guy. That shit is corny, man. Only difference with Ice Spice, she's a young woman. She could do it. The older woman, I'm telling you right now, you don't wanna be very careful with that younger boy shit. Be very careful because I trust when you walk into the restaurant. I don't listen. As fine as Tracee Ellis Ross is, it's a disgrace to see her with a nigga half age. She don't got to do that. If you're gonna be with a black piece of shit, you might as well just be with a. You might as well just be with one of your age group. Don't be with a motherfucker that's 30 years old and the next thing you know he gets bored. Forget his boredom is gonna be different because you're older. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good when you walk into the fucking restaurant and you're 52 years old and your boyfriend's 27 years old and you got all these fine younger women. You looking crazy. That don't look good. It doesn't look good. It's not as bad as when an older man is with a younger woman. It don't look as bad. It's worse with you. Doesn't look good. And this is why she's saying she's over there for a reason. Now she's saying she can't. Hey, believe me, ain't no nigga that's not gonna smash Tracee Ellis Ross. I don't give a fuck if he's 12. No man is not gonna want that. I'm just saying the men in her age group have any man that's dealing with Tracee Ellis Ross has options. That's just the bottom line. So This nigga, if he fucking, if his Rolodex is Tracee Ellis Ross, imagine who he's fucking. That's a whole different level of a nigga. Average man can't relate to that.
or whatever those things were, or prize, or, and I have no interest in it, and I
And
will
you,
not do it again.
I'm sorry,
No, I
Craig.
was gonna say, so it's a generational thing. So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just
I'm
kind
not
of the
saying
guys you're
that's sort of
meeting?
that's
Too
obviously
big of a
it's a
generalization.
Yeah,
generalization, but because I have dated men my age, there
yeah.
is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man
Mhm.
around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as
Mhm.
basic as
Right.
that
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
there's
No, I
times
hear you.
where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what
What?
did you just
Oh
say?
Yeah.
boy, it's just too. She's got too much going on, man. Too much low self esteem, and she has a lot of serious problems, man. There's no reason why a woman should be this accessible, man, at this level. That's crazy. Just the fact that she says I dated a lot of men, like the men that dated, like nigga, where's the men that you date? These niggas is official. They gotta be, cause they got you, but you don't even know who you are. You're having dinner with the former president, and the first lady. These are your friends. Oh my God, this is painful.
What century are you?
Like,
Well,
oh my God.
where's your
Like,
horse and buggy
yeah, like I'm so
and
sorry.
your bedpan?
Yeah, for real.
Chamber pot.
Yeah,
Your
your
chamber
chamber
pot.
pot, your chamber pot, like where I'm just like, yeah, this is not a match.
Yeah.
And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or
Yeah.
grow them up.
Yeah.
That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many different philosophies on dating,
Yeah.
and I have come up with mine. I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not on dating apps. I have friends that have great success with dating apps, but that's just not something I'm comfortable
So
with.
you're
Mhm.
meeting folks in the wild then.
That's the only way for me. Or someone
Mhm.
sets me up, or
Okay.
I meet them at an event. I meet someone. It's usually people that also have a level of recognition that they, have as much to lose as me to a
Yep.
certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had great luck lately, but I do have to say I'm moving up
Mhm.
on what it is that I'm looking for as a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've had some doozies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just I just love watching your life
Mhm.
because you were modeling so many things, the next phase, how many versions of ourselves we can
Mhm.
become at all ages in life,
Mhm.
and how to build the life you want,
Yes.
not the life that somebody told you were supposed to have. And let me tell you, I told you this about the girls, and Tracee, just like, she mentors the girls, she's always there for them. But trying to get trying to make sure that I am not subconsciously sending them these messages about what their life should look like.
Mm-mm.
Even like when you ask, are you dating anyone? I mean, that's
Mm-mm.
something that we ask young people in their 20s.
Yeah.
The whole thing about weddings,
Well, we talk a lot about that.
yeah, it's just like the pre-proposal and the
Oh my.
bachelorette and
Oh
the
my.
pre-honeymoon and then the three wedding dresses and have you thought about
The
your
amount of
your
money.
32 list items of who you
Yes.
want to marry, or are you more busy planning picking out your photographer?
Yeah, it's interesting that whole. I hope that is starting to dissipate
I hope
culturally.
so.
I really do. I think social media is perpetuating some of those
Yeah.
things in a really big way. But I, you know, I did dream of my wedding
Yeah.
growing up. And that's not to say that I didn't dream of the bigness of my life,
Mhm.
but I could have spent a lot more time dreaming of my life.
Mhm.
Um, and as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
Mm,
Absolutely.
that's a
But
great point for people to
at
hear.
all.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
don't, I'm not interested in that. You have to
Yes.
make my life better. It
Right.
can't just be, I'm in a relationship to
Mhm.
be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and
Mhm.
that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done and I think of, I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I
Mhm.
didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know. Sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have, and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind.
Yeah.
And it's built a really beautiful experience
has.
around me. And I have incredible friends.
You do.
Well, this is a good segue to get to our
Okay,
question,
let's do it.
especially the talking about dating and meeting people. And we have a great question. So Natalie, our
Natalie.
producer, is going to read
Gonna
the
take it
question
away.
for. Make sure your mic works over there. Is it
I
working?
think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna fast forward this. This shit was whack. They did this yesterday. Hold on. Let's just get straight to it.
I thought that was so interesting what you said. When you asked Craig that question, I think it's timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That when a guy feels they're ready, then
Right.
who's
They
in
just
front of you.
pick. Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
So crazy.
It is crazy.
And then it
Just
takes
like-
your second marriage to figure out
Figure
you
out.
need to be
It's
discerning.
all-
And for some
Yes.
people, like
I
they
know,
don't
I
or
know.
fourth, or they never figure it out.
I know,
Yeah.
It's just
I know,
like
I know.
Fascinating.
My technique for the second one I thought was pretty good.
I think that is real. I thought that was
Yeah.
really helpful for other people to hear. The other thing I'm curious is that cultural that men it's timing, or is it, I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
nature or
yeah.
nurture?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of it is cultural,
Mm.
right? We grow up waiting to be chosen,
Yes.
you know? At the school dance, you don't get to dance, or at least in our generation, you didn't get to dance if somebody didn't ask you to dance.
Yeah. And then if you are the chooser, then men are like, you're aggressive.
Oh my gosh, there wasn't any choosing.
Well, now for my generation.
Yeah,
Or I don't
yeah.
I don't even know my generation. For me.
Yeah.
Can I give you just a little bit
Please.
of a different thought process
Okay,
behind
yes,
it?
that's why you're here.
Imagine
Mm.
as a 17-year-old
Mhm.
and you're walking into a sock hop, which I just use for effect, but a
Yeah,
dance,
but there are a lot
party.
of kids going, what is
With a
that?
sock
What are
hop.
your
What's
socks
a
have to do
sock-
with
Yeah.
anything?
You go, but we used to have these sock
It's a
hops,
school
or it's a
dance.
school
Okay.
dance. So imagine you're 17 years old and there's a bunch of girls in there, and you go ask somebody to dance, and they say no, thank you.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
And then you go to ask the next person, and they say no, thank
Oh
you.
no, I don't like this.
But that's how it was.
Yeah, that's hard. That's very
how
hard.
it was.
Mhm.
So the question you have to ask yourself as a guy is, do I just take what I have, or do I take the chance of asking the next person and they say no?
Yeah, the courage. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
You know, and it
that's
is,
real.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
real. So
It's an important perspective for
yes,
sure.
yes.
And it is hard, but ultimately you choose, right? It's scary, but so imagine the girl who is standing in the same sock hop with her shoes off now, all embarrassed because she's standing in her socks.
See what I have to put up with?
Mhm. I have 4 siblings.
waiting to be asked, and people are just passing her by, and there are a bunch of shy boys not even trying.
Mhm.
Whereas a guy can decide that the decision is still a
Ye-
man's to make.
Right.
Not, is it though always? I just think culturally
I think
that is what we
culturally
say
it is.
yes.
Yeah.
I think culturally,
Yes.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
The original question was,
Yes.
is it nature or
Yeah.
nurture? I think a lot of it is the culture
Yeah.
that gives that power
I agree.
to men. Now, it's a difficult power to have because
Mm.
with power comes responsibility and hurt and risk and all that.
Mhm.
But even to this day, as you said, Tracee, if a woman crosses that dance floor to ask, she's
Oh.
aggressive.
Oh.
It's an unattractive quality. So now I either wait to
I don't-
to
I
dance,
wouldn't
or I
say
don't
that.
dance
I
at
don't-
all.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Okay.
And I also would say, as a boy or a young man, if a woman walked across the floor and asked me to dance, it was no way I was going to say no.
Well, I think obviously there's
Mhm.
all different kinds of people.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
all different kind. I mean, and then we're not even entering into the gender fluidity within this
Mhm,
conversation.
absolutely. You're
Right.
right.
That is so much a part of what the younger generation is making sense of, and I think they're actually doing that really beautifully.
I do too.
And I
See, I think a lot of people's problems is when they get older, they want to appeal to the younger generation. I was never like that, because when I was young, I didn't want to be young. didn't want to be. Shout out to the Chiron. Shout out to the Holy. I didn't want to be younger. So to me, I mean, listen. To me, I just see wisdom comes with age. So I don't have anything. I'm not into the youth like that. However, I am a father. My daughter's very young. Um, so I'm aware of it, but I'm not into the youth to the degree of what they say. And that's just you know what I mean. It's not a thing about, oh fuck, you're stupid. No, it's the youth needs guidance. So when I was younger, I always looked up to the OGs. Not to say they didn't respect me and look up to me either, but my mission was a lot different. Um, so with me, I'll give an example. If I was to endure all the things that young people have through all this dating influence, I wouldn't be here doing what I do. I pay it no mind. I'm not gonna say they don't mean nothing to me. I'm not gonna trash them, but come on, man, that's going backwards. Like I'm not. I, I can't listen to a young person's dating advice. I already know what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? They got to get to where I'm at. So I don't entertain this. Listen, Tracy Ellis Ross, like any other black woman, has this disorder. It's a problem. That's it. You know what I mean? That's why she's in the position she's in. See, Eve didn't go that way. Janet Jackson didn't go that way. You know what I mean? These are women that just was like, man, fuck that. Like, you wasted time. This is just the reality. Like at the end of the day, we as men, we, as men, listen, if a younger nigga gonna get with Tracy Ellis Ross, in most cases he gonna want to smash it the same way an older nigga gonna want to do it. We men, we can't take that away. But he ain't trying to get serious with that, man. You gotta think about it. She's older. She's more mature. Like this nigga's still young. He gotta live his life. If she using a nigga as a little having sex every now and then, cool. But ain't nothing wrong with he doing that. But come on now, like he ain't trying to really lock that shit down like that.
I've learned so much from the gender conversation and how it's expanded. I've learned so much about myself and what are the expectations that I didn't know were expectations
Mhm.
about being a
Mhm.
woman that I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I don't need to own that because I just
Mhm.
thought that was a given, but now I know it's not,
Mhm.
But I think the societal norm, yes. I mean, I had a guy say to me recently, yeah, you can't make a man do anything he doesn't want to do.
Mhm.
But culturally, you can make a woman do a lot of things she doesn't want to do because we're trained culturally
Yep.
Mhm.
to acquiesce in that way, that that's our role, that we are. But I mean, this guy Ronan, I love the question
Mhm.
because first of all, what I'll say to Ronan is no one knows you better than you.
That's right.
And your friends can have all the suggestions in the world, and
Mhm.
some of them might be helpful ones, and some of them might be ones you want to consider.
Yeah.
And then I think the thing that you have to do is ask yourself, does that feel right for me?
Mhm.
Does that really feel like what's going to get the growth to happen?
Yeah.
And sometimes not dating helps people discover that. And sometimes dating is the thing that helps people discover that.
Well, and,
Um,
and it's interesting when I think to your point, Craig, when you were you had your 32
mm,
list item, that was all about Kelly, right? I mean, and that's
Well,
sometimes
it,
what we do. Forget you.
yep.
I think that's what a lot of people do. It's like there's a list of things that I need in the other person,
Right.
mm,
and
Right.
and some of them, a lot of them are superficial,
mm,
like height
mm,
and career and income and what school you went to, right? But it's all about the other person meeting a checklist.
mm.
What Ronan's friends are suggesting, and what I agree on, is like, okay, there's that list about the other person, but what's your list? What is your 32-point list about yourself that you need to explore? And I think a lot of men,
Don't.
and I hate to generalize like that, but so many women are self-reflective in our groups. We live in conversation. We live in a social world where we're constantly analyzing ourselves and each other in our conversations. This is the dialogue of women, and men aren't doing that. as much. I think
I
the
do see a
younger
lot more
generation
of
is
it.
doing it more.
Yeah, I do see a lot more of it. I see a lot of it online and I really celebrate it. I
Yeah.
think it's beautiful to see men have these deeper conversations about who they are
Mm-hmm.
and what they want. But the norm is no. And then the
Yeah.
other thing to me is the invitation, right? It's like, yes, that's the cultural norm, but the invitation is really to remind everyone, men
Mhm.
and women, to take into account who they are
Yeah.
and what is important to you. You know,
Mhm.
is somebody's height the most important thing to you? And
Mhm.
why?
Why?
Is it because of
Mhm.
what other people see or is it because of you? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? And I think those reflective questions not only help you in dating, they just help you in life.
So
Um,
let's help Ron. What are some of these questions he should be asking
Oh, that's a good.
himself?
Well, just like in developing your life, when I talk to young people, it's like, who do you want to be?
Mm,
What do you care about?
mm,
And not what do you want to do, not what title you want to have, but how do you want to show up in the world? What's important to you? Is it
Okay.
kindness? Is it empathy? Do
Is it
you
money?
is it money? Yeah, for some people it is.
Mhm.
For some people it's security,
Hmm.
financial security. Some it's emotional security.
Is it important for honesty?
Yeah. For
Hmm.
for me, for example, like I knew that you date enough people, you date people that just
Mm,
right. And one thing I learned, luckily I learned it soon. I realized that cheating, if I was dating a cheater, that had nothing to do with me.
mm, mm, mm.
Because like I am not inherently a cheater or a liar. I mean, I would rather just look somebody in the face and say we should break up because I'm thinking about dating somebody else and I'm not going to hold you hostage while I go experience stuff. So I had to pick somebody who had the same
Yeah,
values
yeah, yeah.
about that as I do, right? I didn't want to be married or date somebody that I have to worry about who you texting, what's on your phone, where
Where
did you
that
go?
trust is not
That
an
trust
anchor.
is not there. And because it was to them, not
Mm,
because it was important to me
but they were the same.
that they had the same quality.
Mm,
That was way more important to me than what career, because I
mhm,
had dated people who were broken, in my opinion, broken in that way. And
mm,
it's like, that's not fun to me,
mhm,
guessing whether my partner is faithful.
mhm.
Like some people are good with that game.
Yes, or yes, some people that engages their
Hmm.
chemistry. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I have no judgment really. Like there's
Right,
things for
right.
people. Everybody has different values
Hmm.
around those things and
Yeah,
what's important. Some people don't want deep conversation.
yeah, yeah.
Some people that is not their thing. It feels invasive.
Hmm.
It feels uncomfortable. Some people do. I also think for Ronan, um, I have come to really know that there's a big difference in somebody that I am looking at dating as a partner and somebody that's somebody to enjoy and take what I like and leave the rest.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
And I learned as I've gotten older, like chemistry is not a relationship
Right.
Mm.
Right.
and
Ooh,
love
say that again.
chemistry is not a
Ooh,
relationship.
yes.
And
Okay.
love does not always include chemistry.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm somebody who wants both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody's not like that. Some
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
people are really don't want a sort of the passionate chemistry
Mhm.
of, intimate physical energy. That's not their thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who that's their one of the ways they
Mhm.
communicate love.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like for example, I have male friends. I have one that we literally text and it's not flirting and
Mhm.
it's all clothes
Yeah.
and fashion and shopping.
All
And it's like a
clothes. Yeah.
version of a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
He's the sexiest little thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's young.
Yeah.
There's never been anything physical,
Right.
but we
Right.
have this amazing like exchange that
Yeah. And
happens
I
all
don't
the
have
time.
that with my husband.
No, no.
I that sounds fun.
But that's fun, right? It's like so
Boo.
fun. And I'm single. Then
Boo.
then I have a friend I go to the movies with. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then there's people that
Yeah.
and obviously if I end up in a relationship with someone, those probably will not
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Those different things, but my friendships will continue because you
Mhm.
also can't expect your partner to be everything.
That's right.
All right. So this is
Okay.
perfect. So how do we help Ronan become a better subject for women? How do we help him make himself into a more attractive?
Well, I think he sounds like he's attractive. He's having no problems
Yeah.
dating. So what I'll say,
But he's not. It's not sticking.
But
yeah,
that
but that could be
that
timing.
right. That could be timing.
Okay,
And that
all
could
right.
be him. That could be him just not choosing. He may not be ready to really
Or
settle down. Or
The other big thing I'm going to say, look, I'm 52.
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
this
I don't.
program is
Yes.
about. It's in my opinion.
Mhm.
You don't have to know. We just
But-
have our deeply held opinions
but
about
this is-
Ronan's life.
Exactly. But this is what I'm saying. I might not meet a partner.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
yeah,
saying-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I know
Right.
there's this assumption,
I-
right? And the assumption is if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Mhm.
I don't agree.
I agree with you not agreeing with
You know
that.
what I mean? Like
Yes.
I'm just like,
Mhm.
no,
Yes.
I don't.
Mhm.
That's no.
Right.
I am a great match and a great catch and
Yeah.
all those things, but I also am going to wait for the right person. So to Ronan, I would say,
Mhm.
let yourself own the fact that you want a relationship and you are going to do all the things you know how to do to walk towards that.
Mhm.
And if you don't find the right person, it's not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
If you're doing all the right things, do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the first thing I would say to Ronan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
second thing is ask yourself the question, is dating helping you get towards what you want? Or is it actually distracting you because there's enough drama that you're not having the courage to say, this is what I want? I had a friend who was dating recently and the guy is out of a divorce and there's just some stuff going on and they really like each other, but he's kind of in a hallway. And
Mhm.
she said, which I thought was the most courageous and beautiful thing, why don't you call me when you're out of the hallway?
Yeah.
You know?
When you find a room.
Yeah, when you find a room. And
Mhm.
like, if you still think I'm somebody that could be in that room
Yeah.
with you, then give me a call. I mean, I said to someone I was dating recently, like, I've come to realize that you are not a loving match for me
Yeah.
as much as I love you.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to,
That is a nice cold-blooded cut right there.
See, I'm all like, that's so
I know, right?
true.
Oh.
And Craig's like, that
Oh.
is, it's Mr.
Yeah,
Nice Guy. It's
I,
like,
didn't, I
yes.
didn't hear from him for a while.
I bet he's still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, well, he made his bed before when he wasn't
Mhm.
showing up the way he should have.
Mhm.
I gave him enough tries. And the
Mhm.
crazy thing
Yeah.
is for me, when it takes a lot for somebody to get inside my heart and feel
Yeah.
safe. Once you get in there, it's so hard for me to get you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to really give myself time. And that's the other thing I would say to Ronan about him sort of pining around this old relationship. Remember that in memory, you remember the good stuff.
That's right.
So it's not always the full picture. There's a reason that didn't work, and you can trust that. And the right relationship, there's nothing you can do to make it stop. Like
Yeah.
it will resurface itself if it's
Yeah.
meant to be.
Well, I think that's really great, solid advice. I think there are a lot of people who put too much pressure on trying to find everything in one person. I don't know if that's Ronan's issue. But if it is, I'd encourage him to, be a little more open and to understand that relationships are long and there are also ebbs and flows, right?
Mm.
So I think sometimes people who date don't realize that, in long-term relationships, you're gonna have deep, deep dips and you're gonna
You're gonna have a bad
peaks.
year.
You're gonna have a bad. I tell people, and folks think that this is harsh. It's like you're gonna have a bad decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been married to my husband for 30 plus years. I mean, the truth is, if you add it all up, even the year
Yeah.
if the odds were you're going to be married to your partner for 50 years and 10 of those years could be bad, that's
You'd sign up for it.
you'd sign up for it.
You'd sign up for it. Right.
And that's really how it works out.
That's
you
the
know?
reality of
The
it.
reality is that if you choose to have a traditional marriage and you have kids, let me tell you, the years of 1 to 13 will be bad for you as an adult, because it's beautiful, but
But it's
they'll take you for a loop and you love them and you don't want to hate them because they're cute. So you're going to be mad at the person who is sitting next to you, the other adult.
the one who helped you make
The
it.
one who helped you make it, So that accounts for just a decade, right? I think people don't think about that as they date because they're trying to find the match that where all those 30 years are going to be blissful.
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
And it's like, that's just not going to happen.
Can I just ask what some of the 32 things on the list were
Yes.
of the questions?
Yes,
so
you can.
curious.
Yes,
Is that
you
okay?
can.
Is that okay? Is that
It-
valid?
it's
Is that a
okay.
That
valid
is
question? You
so
okay to
good.
answer that?
That is so
It
good.
is
That's
good.
a
It
great
is good. You
question.
just it's
It might help
so
Ronan
it might help Ronan.
and me.
And
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were.
so
What was number item 30?
I guarantee you Kelly still has the list
Oh,
because
that's
Okay.
fantastic.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we should get her
it
on the
was
phone.
it was significant.
Uh.
But she has this one thing that I didn't have on my list, but I would put on my list now is, are you comfortable with me being able to stand alone in a room?
Wait, say
Oh.
that again?
Are you comfortable with me being able to stand alone in a room? So to your point, you have this full life and you have this aura about you that if we're going somewhere, and the same with you, we go into a room, we might not be right next
We're
to
not going to
each
be
other.
couple to couple.
We're not going to be
Yeah.
couple to couple.
You go
Are
one
you
in.
okay with me standing alone? Because I
Love
can
that
stand
question.
alone. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay.
I love that
Is-
question.
So that was her question to you or your question to her?
That was one of her questions to me.
It's a great question.
That wasn't
that's a
that,
good
that was the
question.
one that was not a
I'm
category.
gonna throw that at one of the
That's
people
a
I'm
good
dating
one.
right
You say,
now.
Yes.
look out,
Yes.
Mr.
And-
Whoever you are. Can
And
you stand
I
alone?
said,
That's a
it's
good
so
question.
important to me, especially the way my family is, for you to be able to stand alone. So
Mhm.
that's a
Oh.
great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were sort of
That's a really good one.
I love that question.
and then
actually.
and then the one that we spent the most time on were, what are your deal breakers?
Yeah.
What is it that you can absolutely not stand,
Yep.
so I can make sure that none of them are like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah. And I will tell you, this
I
was
just like the way you put it though, because it's sort of innocently sweet and it's not so hard over the head. Like, can you stand alone in a room?
That's why I like the
Which
question,
is
because I would
like-
ask that all wrong.
Right. That's
Okay.
just the
I
thing.
would ask that
Are you
same
an
question.
insecure, trifling
That
ass?
is exactly right.
Are you so insecure
Yeah.
that
Are
you
you
can't handle a
uncomfortable with my
strong
bigness?
woman? Yeah, that's right. And
I
then
would ask it all
right,
wrong.
that's
He would be
because
squashed
I
from
am
the
a
start.
boss. I am a boss.
I'm a boss. Are you okay being the
can you
fella?
level up? Can you level up? And then he's running away, going,
I don't.
It's
She's
like
aggressive. Yeah, that was really helpful.
yeah, that's
Ronan?
good. That's a good way to think about it.
And the one thing, to bring it back to Ronan, is it actually better for Ronan to learn more about himself by not dating than dating a whole bunch of people? Because in the question, he's asking the question, should I just not date?
Well, I
Mm.
think it depends, because I don't
Okay.
think we have enough information from
Mhm.
Ronan, right?
Yeah.
Like when he says distracting, what kind of distracting? So that's why I posed the question back to him of, you have to ask yourself some questions to figure out, is that the right advice for you?
Yeah.
Are you learning enough from dating that's actually giving you the right information about yourself?
Mhm.
Or is the dating actually taking you off course
Mm.
because you're getting invested in the drama of things aren't working out
And
or are working out?
Tracee, I think that's a good point for everyone. Are people dating with intentionality?
Mm,
To learn something,
Yeah.
right? Or people just out there. And if you're not reflecting on why you picked somebody, why the dinner went well,
mhm.
why you laughed,
Yeah.
and it's just happening to you without, for men and women,
Yeah.
for anybody of any sexual preference, it's like doing some self-assessment
Mm.
through the process. I would encourage,
Yeah.
because we're not taught to do that either in dating. Dating,
agree.
there's no
Did he call
guidebook to-
again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where did he take you?
Mhm.
And are we
What does he
asking,
do?
right? Are we asking questions of how do you feel? Why did you feel that way? Why did this relationship end? I think that may be what Ronan's friends are suggesting. And he can do that and he can do both.
Yes, he can.
He can date but be more reflective
Yeah.
about the process. And I
Mhm.
think that's true for everyone.
Yeah.
If you want to have a partner, you got to know yourself.
Yep.
It's dating and having an internal conversation
Agreed.
about why your whys, your motivations, your history, your
Mhm.
fears.
Mhm.
What are you mimicking? Like Craig, you were imitating what you thought your mom and dad had, and
Mhm.
you did that more than me.
Right.
I was more like, I don't know if I want to be like them.
Mm.
Love them, love their marriage, but I didn't date for I want to do what my mom and dad did. And I think, Craig, you're more that kind of, this is
Mhm.
the way it works.
It was a pattern or
Yeah.
Mhm.
a strategy. The strategy is you go to college, you find a job, you have some single life,
Yeah.
and then you get married.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of checking off
Mhm.
I was following a strategy, and that's just not.
Or an
I don't want
expectation
Ronan
to do that. I don't
to
want
do
any
that.
young, I want this
Yeah,
generation of young people to be more thoughtful.
Yeah.
yeah,
And thoughtful from an internal compass is my
Mhm.
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I always ask myself when I leave any situation, date included, how do I feel after?
Mhm.
Do I feel, because sometimes you can think it's really nice in the moment and you leave. And I was like, wait, why do I feel small?
Mhm.
Why do I
Mhm.
feel more insecure? Or
Yeah.
do you feel good about yourself? Another question I do like to ask people is, how do you argue?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
That was on the list.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was on the list.
That was 12.
Yeah, that was
That
on the
was
list.
item
That's a
12.
good one.
It's
That's a
it's
good
a
one.
good
Yeah, it
one,
is.
That's a
because
good
like
one.
my siblings, there's a way that my family argues that I'm
Mhm.
comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I've been, because I get loud and then it's done. Like I'm
Mhm.
so straightforward. I'm
Yeah.
not somebody who's gonna like hold it, like I'm gonna say it. For some people, that's terrifying.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
terrifying
Yes.
and sort of sends them into another place. So I just think all those kinds of
Mhm.
questions, and asking them both of the other person and of yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. And it's not always a deal breaker. It's
Mhm.
just something to be aware of because it will be a thing that you will need to work on in the relationship. And that's what makes relationship, marriage, partnership so hard because you are taking two independent people with
Yes.
a whole different set of experiences and saying, forever and ever, amen. Marriage is hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
And
it's yeah.
it is reasonably hard.
Mhm. The right kind of hard.
it's the right kind of hard, but don't get upset when it's hard, you know?
Well, I mean, social media has
Yeah.
made a myth of so many things
Yeah.
because life requires you to show up.
That's right. That's right.
And if you want anything out of it, it's going to be
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
And relationships included. Someone told me this great just metaphor of, imagine that the people you're closest to, you're going to step on each other's toes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so how do you work out the stepping on toes? Do you just blame them?
That's right.
Or do you figure out how to not step on each other's toes?
Mhm.
Or is that just the nature of what a relationship brings?
Yeah.
And then how do you work those things through and work those things out?
And it's important for Ronan to understand that it's work
Yeah.
because sometimes, and maybe for men, or if they can be choosers or people in general, they think there's something wrong in the dating process.
Mm.
And it's like, nah, it's just, what it means to be with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's complicated. It's hard. It requires compromise. It requires you to change and adapt
Mm-hmm.
all throughout the process.
Mm.
You can't just come in and say, well, this is who I am, and these are my habits. So some of the list is important, but when you couple, you will not be able to find the exact right person who just balances you on all those 32
Right.
points.
Exactly.
It's just, then
Right.
you will be alone in it, and that's okay too.
Or you're going to try and date yourself, which you don't want to do.
And that won't be fun
That's not
because
fun.
you'll find out all the worst parts of yourself and you will be divorced
Yeah.
from yourself.
Do you have this? Do you, as the man in your relationship, since we've been talking about it from our perspective, do you feel that you have continued to grow in your current marriage and that
Absolutely.
it asks that of you?
Absolutely. Because it sounds like the list was my list, but the discussion that it brought continues to happen to this
Mhm.
day. That's
Mhm.
what's so beautiful about it, because I can tell the growth comes because when we go to dinner on our date nights, we're talking as if we had just met.
Oh, that's
Like
so
we are
Mhm.
always talking, and
Yeah.
and so I've just gotten better at being in a relationship, and that's what I
That's just a really
Mm.
nice thing to say. Like,
Mhm.
I've gotten better at being in a relationship.
That's why, in our opinion, in my opinion, the show is like, let's teach everybody how to get better at this.
Or to
Mhm.
know that it's an important muscle to
Yeah.
build.
Oh, interesting.
Perfect time to give Ronan some takeaways.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
You're the
You
master
took
takeaway.
notes. You
Yeah.
I
take
took
away.
Yeah, you're the
notes.
Come on,
only
coach,
one.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Tell us.
The self-reflection
Bring
has
it
to be at
home.
the top.
Yes,
Mhm.
you're right.
Self-reflection has to be at the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracee, you said something that was really interesting. Do you even want to have a connection with
Chemistry, and love. Yeah.
chemistry and love, or is this just a I'm not in love with you
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing?
What's important to him
What's
in a
in-
relationship?
What's important to him? And then the third thing that I had, and Mish, you said this, is you have to do the extra work
Mm.
in in not only being in the relationship, but trying to find a relationship.
Mm-hmm. And
I-
I can I
Go-
reframe that?
Yes, you can
So
reframe
let's
that.
just call it the work because
Mhm.
it's not extra work. That's
Mhm.
just the work it
Okay.
Yeah.
takes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
And I have one last thing.
Mm.
It's and there's no one right way to live a life.
Mm.
I mean, maybe Ronan, you don't choose a life partner,
Mhm.
or it doesn't happen, or you
Mhm.
don't find it. There's so many ways to be happy, and it doesn't just look like marriage, 2 kids, and a house. There's so many examples of people who live full, wonderful lives
Yeah.
that aren't following the quote unquote traditional path.
Mhm.
And I just want Ronan not to force something that isn't there.
Yeah.
It's like stars aligning.
Mhm.
It may not happen. So now the work is how are you happy with the life that's right before you? That's what
That's
I
it.
want for my daughters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm raising them to be is like, how are you happy with how life is working out right at this moment?
Mhm.
So that you're not living in regret or living in I wish or holding up your life, you know?
Mhm.
So when
And
you're
waiting.
waiting
Yeah.
for it to happen, in the meantime, Ronan,
Yeah.
live, grow, adapt for your own self.
Yeah. And if there are those things that you are like longing to do with a partner, are there versions of that you can do with yourself?
Yes,
Which is the thing that I have really discovered in my life. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, so how can I do that on my own while still dating?
hmm
Yeah.
Well,
Good
Tracee,
stuff.
What a fun conversation.
I love you.
I love you right back.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
was so
proud
nice.
This
of
was so
you.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. And your vulnerability, your willingness to share, be open, always refreshing.
Thanks.
So see ya.
That's my currency.
That's what you get. You do it. You use it well. Thanks so much.
Come back
you.
soon.
I will.
For centuries, women's health has been incomplete. Northwell is filling in the missing pieces. That's why more women choose us than any other health system in New York. Northwell, raise health.
Yeah, so very interesting. Very interesting layout. It is a very interesting breakdown, and I just want people to really I want you to be challenged by this when all the excuses, I don't even like to use the word excuses, but I want you to be challenged by this. I want you to look at this video and analyze and tell me what was the resolution. That's it. And who are you listening to? Are you listening to men that are getting the woman? Shout out to Don P. Or are you listening to men that desire women? It's a big difference. And most men on social media desire women, so they're worthless. And as worthless as they are, drugs are worthless, right? So if a person, this is the deal. If if a person is doing drugs, they're doing something doesn't care about them and all the above, and everything's negative about it, right? But it has influence. So even if the worthless man on YouTube and social media doesn't necessarily have the tools to speak on things, he still has an influence. And as far as it could go to Michelle Obama, it could go to Dan Tracy Ellis Ross. He's as much as a pile of shit he is, he's no different than you looking at a mountain of cocaine. You know, if they take heed to his influence, it could affect them negatively. So, but what I'm going to tell you, the resolution that I have, just pay attention and pay attention. You don't want to be in Tracy Ellis Ross's position. Um, Michelle did say one thing that was true. I did like. She said that just because a person doesn't have the tools, as far as like the house, the two kids, and all that, doesn't mean they're not living a sensational life. That is true. Um, so beware. Just watch that. It just shows you even a woman at that level has way too much accessibility into doing things that she just shouldn't be doing. Trying to be a normal person, it's just she can't do it. And that's why she's in the position that she's in. You know what I mean? She's in a great position to not be in the position that she's in. You understand? So, Michael Prince says she's not raising daughters to be wise. I mean, once again, brother, you guys you keep getting off of the topic. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the whole layout of this video was you're addicted to black men. It's a mental disorder. Whether you're addicted to drugs, whether you're addicted to food, whether you're addicted to when you're addicted to something that's a disorder, that's past having an admiration for it. It's an addiction. And that's the problem. Nobody's giving her a resolution for this addiction to treat it. They're not even giving her that. Um, but when you're attracted to men off of visual, especially brothers, I mean, well, I'm a black man. I can't listen. You're wasting your time with us. Trust me when I tell you, it's a waste. You're wasting your life. You're pissing it away. The majority of these guys is dirt, and they're not even deserving of it. And they're telling you what they like and what they want. They don't even get none of that because the guy that gets it don't have time to talk about it. He won't even put himself out there like that. You understand? He won't. He doesn't have to. So, yeah, it's a disorder, man. And just lay the video out and you tell me what did you pick up from it, and we'll speak about it another time. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Easter. You have a beautiful day. Blessed. Peace.